What's happening?
So the offense with McKinnon and a lot of versatile guys added the last year or so, but you were obviously the first kind of part of that wave last year. Do you feel that Kyle's vision is going to be able to come to fruition now with all these different pieces?
Yeah, definitely. I have a soft spot for multifaceted guys, so I was happy when I heard that we were getting Jet. But I think what Kyle talks about with his offense is he wants to be able to run everything with every position from any part on the field and not matter what the personnel is. And I think that makes things really tough for the defense to try and scheme against that.
What have you seen from this defensive back unit so far in camp? I saw Adrian came up with a nice pick 6 today.
Yeah.
How hard has it been dealing with them out there?
Man, I've seen a lot of growth with that group. Picking up Richard Sherman has been more than just what he brings to the table. It's what he's brought out of these other guys. I see them look to him for so much, and they're always working on extra things, and it's showing up on the field now. You know, those guys are making plays and a lot of confidence back there, and I love to always run past them and say a little something to get them gassed up, but they're doing a great job.
I don't know how well you've gotten to know Dante Pettis, but he has blue hair. He likes cats, and he reads and different things like that. Is his personality something that anything that I mean he calls himself weird.
Yeah.
Is that something that he has to deal with from his teammates?
I mean, I have a locker 2 spots over from Dante, so I got to get to know him a little bit. And today he pulled up next to me in his brand new nice G-Wagon. But yeah, Dante's he's a cool guy, man. Definitely a different personality, one that you don't always see in every locker room out of every guy. But the guy's a football player, man. He's a technician out there. Works his tail off, and he fits right in with everybody. He's a great teammate.
Sherman has a reputation for being loud and brash. I haven't seen that from him during practice. He seems actually quite quiet and instructive for the other players. Is he kind of like taking on the role of a coach a little bit, or what do you see?
From what I see with Sherm, he's that guy that when he's not on your team, you hate him, and when he's on your team, you love him. I think that's a little bit of that where when he's lined up against you in a different jersey, he does seem loud and brash, and you're like, gosh, I can't wait to shut this guy up. But it's absolutely not the case when he's on your team. I think he's incredibly intelligent. He's very genuine, and he does a great job of bringing other people along, and he definitely wants to pass on what he's learned to younger guys.
What have you seen from Reuben Foster in the middle so far?
I mean, what you always see from Reuben, a lot of aggression, a lot of quick reactions. Kyle likes to call him the water boy, and I think he's definitely earned that reputation.
You guys had a pretty good collision on one-on-ones initially. Did you kind of expect that spin move he was coming at you with?
I mean, with Rube, you're going to get something. He's always going to bring it 100%, and that was kind of my mindset going into one-on-ones. I was going to take my shot. Kyle had just talked to us in our team meeting. Everybody saw the clip of Marquise and Richard in one-on-ones, and he used that as a coaching point. He didn't get up there and bash on Sherman like, we paid you this much and you come out here and give us that. No, it was nothing like that. It was he actually complimented him because it was his very first rep in one-on-ones since he's been injured, and he didn't hesitate. He was extremely aggressive on the line of scrimmage, and yeah, he got beat, but that's what one-on-ones are for. So I tried to take that into one-on-ones and just try to be aggressive. And if a guy like Reuben gives me a spin move and he gets me, at least I put it out there on the table and was giving everything I had.
How does your job change with a guy like Jerick McKinnon behind you compared to Carlos Hyde? I mean, 2 very, very different players. So does that change what you have to do in front of him?
Yeah, honestly, I don't feel like it changes too much. They do have different styles, but when it comes to me, I don't think it changes how I'm approaching my blocks on guys. I think, maybe that changes something in the type of play calls that Kyle makes. But for me, I don't see too much of a difference.
There's not a degree of you feel like he's on your heels right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, Jet has that 40 time under his name, but Carlos was also deceptively fast in close quarters. So I feel like both of them, and Matt as well, that's another fast guy that I spent a lot of time with last season. Those guys are going to be on your heels either way.
Play with a fullback the last couple of years. How can you make him more effective? How can you bring out the best in his game?
And I think I can just I can clear holes for him. He does a great job of setting up his blocks. I've already seen that out there, and him and I have been close from day one before he even signed here. I was talking to him, so I just try to communicate with him as much as I can, and kind of give him an idea of how I'm looking at plays, how I look at the block, and that way that we can get on the same wavelength as quick as possible.
In what ways do you think Matt Breida has gotten better in his second camp now?
Man, I've seen so much growth from Matt Breida. I just think you see it in his decisiveness, and you see it in him being able to run through arm tackles. He's not the biggest back, but he does a great job now of keeping his balance and not letting those arm tackles, slow him down because he's so decisive and he hits holes so hard.
It's looking pretty physical out there lately. I know Corey Toomer, a couple big hits, in the middle of the field and on the sideline.
Yeah.
How is that balancing the need for getting out there and being physical, but try not to hurt your teammates and whatnot?
Yeah, Kyle talks about that a lot. As a professional football player, you have to be able to practice with one another and give each other good looks, but at the same time not trying to injure one another. So I think being able to be physical but still be safe and not be out of control, it's only going to make you better, and you have to put yourself in a good position to be able to do that. If you're out of control, you're not going to be able to stay safe, but it's almost you're practicing almost extra hard by being able to be in that position and not be out of control.
Well, the NFL has the helmet lowering rule this year. It seems that has the potential to present some challenges for a fullback. Have you gotten clarity on the rule, how it might affect you, or is it a concern at all?
Yeah, we watched a tape on it here. I think it was our very first day, but no, honestly, it doesn't concern me very much. I'm never trying to lead with the crown of my helmet, so I don't feel like that's going to be a problem for me.
I think Kyle Shanahan's offense allows you to not need one of those bigger bruising backs. You just mentioned that your running backs are not huge, so.
Right. I think you've seen Kyle's been effective with a lot of different kind of running backs, but I definitely don't think you need that big bruiser. You saw how successful he was in Atlanta with Free and Tev out there. Neither one of those are big guys, but both of them were in on the goal line, and I think sometimes maybe it can be a little overstated that you need that big back on short yardage. Sometimes I want a guy that can get to the line of scrimmage quicker, and I think that's something that our guys definitely excel at.
Are there ever moments as an offense, or you personally, when you've been around Marquise for over a year now, but where you watch tape or watch that play against Sherman where you think, my God, this guy's fast? Will you marvel at his speed a little bit?
Yeah, this is my second year with them. I goes all the way back. I played with him in the Senior Bowl, and he was wowing me there, but it still gets me just to see the way that he almost, it looks like he's floating out there, and he just absolutely takes off. It's impressive.
With the running back question, I think Kyle has a similar approach to tall receivers, and while I think it was at the owners' meetings, he said, I think it's just bad football to toss a ball up to a 6'5" guy instead of scheming to get him open. It seems like Kyle takes a certain amount of pride in working with what he has to get openings and not just ramming the ball up the middle. Is that something that you sense with him when you're talking, scheme with him?
Yes, definitely. And I think that kind of goes to, I think Kyle knows what he's looking for. And I think you see that in a lot of places on the field. You see that where, last year I think our biggest receiver was Kendrick Bourne, and outside of that, he didn't worry about getting that big 6'5" guy. You see that in free agency where, Jerick McKinnon, I think before he was signed, nobody expected him to get the kind of deal he did, but Kyle knew exactly what he was looking for, and he doesn't shy away because maybe that's not what the perceived, what's the best thing that people are looking for. I don't think Kyle concerns himself with that. He knows what he needs, and I feel like he goes out there and does it confidently.
As someone who works a lot in pass protection, how much more difficult is it when your opponent is doing a bunch of different games and stunts and scheming things up, which is what it looks like your defensive front is focusing on?
Yeah, it definitely does make things tougher. It's easy when the defense is lined up, they're all stationary, and I got however many seconds before this ball is snapped to really be locked in on exactly who I want. When guys are moving around and they hit the line of scrimmage and all of a sudden, that linebacker's coming off the edge and you got a defensive lineman dropping, it adds an element of surprise to it and just makes you have to be more decisive.
Kyle said he's seen the pass rush over the last 2 practices really take those steps from before. Are you noticing that too?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. You see guys like Defoe and Cassius right around the quarterback a little too often for my liking. But at the same time, it's good.
What did you see out of Trent Taylor today? It was his first day back.
You know, I didn't see too much of Trent. I think he was. I don't know. Did he do team drills?
A little bit. It looked like he took the pads off a little early.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I missed it out there.
All right, guys. Thanks, Juszczyk.
Thanks, guys.